As one of the most important artists of the 20th century, Pablo Picasso has been the topic of numerous books and films. The acclaimed artist lived his life to the fullest, remaining active and creative right until his death in 1973 at the age of 91. Perhaps most well known as one of the founders of Cubism, Picasso was a prolific artist, moving through many periods and styles during his lifetime. And as is often the case with geniuses, his personal history is just as interesting as his artwork. Picasso is a popular name that is commonly seen on t-shirts and mugs or heard in songs such as Jay-Z's Picasso Baby. Interestingly, however, Picasso wasn't Pablo's last name. His real last name was Rui. According to John Richardson's biography, A Life of Picasso, the painter changed his last name to his mother's maiden name, Picasso. Pablo had once famously said, I quote, "In art, one must kill one's father." Unquote. Picasso was a child prodigy, and his artistic output began at a young age. Picasso's father, Jose Ruy Blasco, was a painter and an art teacher who understood fairly early that his son was special. Pablo's earliest painting, The Picador, was completed when he was just 9 years old, and by 13 he had been admitted to the School of Fine Arts in Barcelona. Though Picasso's father was a skilled artist, teaching at the Barcelona School of Fine Arts, it is said that he was in great awe of his son's talent. Rui specialized in drawings of doves and pigeons, and when Picasso was just 13 years old, his father walked into the studio and saw Picasso completing an unfinished sketch of a pigeon that was left by Rui. The father was so impressed by Picasso's talent that he declared he would give up painting because his son had surpassed him. Of course, this did not happen, as there are paintings made by Rui much after this incident. However, in spite of such respect for Picasso's art, somehow the father and son continued to have a volatile relationship, arguing frequently over the smallest of matters. It may come as a surprise to most of us that Picasso was extremely superstitious. The artist felt, for example, that one's hair possessed something magical, and that allowing the wrong kind of barber to cut the hair, and which would not be disposed properly, could bring harm to the person who had a haircut. As a result, Picasso always dreaded getting a haircut. According to a memoir written by his former lover Francois Gillot, titled Life with Picasso, only after he fully trusted a barber would he allow him to cut his hair, and ensured that it was properly disposed of as well. To say that Picasso had a complicated relationship with women is an understatement. He once famously said, I quote, "Love is the greatest refreshment in life," unquote. Picasso was married twice, but had many lovers throughout his life, and had 4 children by 3 women. His first wife, Olga, remained married to him until she died in 1955. However, it is interesting to note that Picasso and Olga had separated since 1935, ever since the latter discovered his affair with the 17-year-old Marie-Thérèse Walter. In what is perhaps the most popular legend surrounding Picasso, he had picked up Walter by saying, "Miss, you have an interesting face. I would like to do your portrait. I am Picasso." It was Picasso's most colorful love affair. Some of his most acclaimed and expensive artwork was inspired by Walter. They even had a daughter together. Picasso refused to divide his estate with Olga, and as per French law, he had no choice but to remain legally married to her. Many of Picasso's mistresses were much younger, including Francoise Gillot. She was just 21 years old when she met Picasso, who was 40 years her senior. She served as his muse, and they stayed together for 10 years, having 2 children. Her memoir, Life with Picasso, details their tumultuous relationship. Picasso's many romantic relationships meant that he left behind a dysfunctional family. According to the Masterworks Fine Art Gallery, the painter's second wife, Jacqueline Roque, has been painted in over 400 portraits by Picasso, more than any of his other lovers, painting over 70 in just 1 year alone. Paintings such as Nuancé dans un fauteuil and Jacqueline, La Femme Odée, celebrated his final muse with bright and bold colors. They remained married till the death of the painter, and it is said that Roque refused to let his children by Gillot attend his funeral. In what may be termed as the most bizarre incident surrounding Picasso, the painter was blamed of having stolen art pieces. On August 21st, 1911, someone stole the Mona Lisa from the Louvre, sending shockwaves throughout the world. When a French newspaper offered a reward for information, a man came forward with a statue he had stolen from the museum 4 years earlier. He claimed to have stolen quite a few of them for the poet Guillaume Apollinaire, who had later sold them off to Picasso. The 29-year-old Picasso, now living in France, was taken to court, where he claimed innocence about the stolen statues. There was no real evidence or any link to the Mona Lisa theft, so Picasso wasn't charged. The real thief, Vincenzo Perugia, was caught and claimed to have stolen the Mona Lisa to bring her home to Italy. But many still believe that Picasso may have had something to do with it. Picasso didn't just paint. He was also a sculptor, ceramicist, poet, playwright, and set designer. Poetry came to Picasso later in life, with him beginning to write in earnest in 1935 after the end of his first marriage. In the 1940s, he wrote 2 full-length plays, Desire Caught by the Tail and The 4 Little Girls, one of which was performed as a reading activity with Albert Camus, Simone de Beauvoir, and Jean-Paul Sartre. Picasso continued painting into his final days, recreating images and sketches over and over until dying of heart failure on the 8th of April, 1973.